spending, risk-based authentication to bring frictionless payments, then customer segmentation and all that stuff will come in. And then we'll also have what we call it as a payment chatbot, which merchants can put it inside their, their e-commerce portal that can help them. And then obviously, you yourself as a bank can use that for having basic queries coming in, balance inquiry, new account, things like that. And then obviously going towards GPayment, which will be made available, and then the Facebook and all that. So this is in making, but it's going to come out, possibly very soon. Then we are going to get into the empowerment. So I have some video which I'll share with you in terms of point of sale, and then going towards obviously a new module that is loyalty. So learning from you, we have said that, hey, why don't we bring in the loyalty program and then, add more value. So plus we will have micro payments, and many other things like Waze, Pokemon business and, open API banking templates. All these things will be coming in, which is what we call it as empowerment. So the whole idea is that from starting, evolving, and then becoming empowered or becoming powerful, as a big adult. So what we have done is that we have broken it down into, I would say, components or users that will use the system. So in this case, meet Mr. B, Mr. Bank. So he wants 95% coverage. He wants CASA, which is your current and saving accounts, to become into digital payments, have solid security, because obviously this is about payments and banking. So we want to make sure security is high and as per regulation. And then also have omni-channel experience, which is web, mobile, and anything forward, which could be face, QR code, things like that. And then obviously able to handle high value and high volume or high velocity kind of rollout. So one good day you say, okay, I want to roll it out to 100,000 people. Then the system should be able to do that, not have hardware tokens and paper-based approach for taking it ahead. And obviously, most important thing is that it should generate revenue. So obviously, Mr. Bank is the core entity which is going to run it, like yourself, and take it forward. And the second is the M Brothers, which is essentially merchant brothers. So it's like possibly one or two co-founders, nano, micro, who are going to build their business, going to come out with some new mobile gaming app or, next generation e-commerce portal or, something super like a fintech, so they're going to do something. Obviously, they are the new guys, who are trying to break something. And that's where they want to have, the new ways of doing payments, web, mobile, omni, whatever they have. And then obviously they will say that, hey, if I'm doing this, because now most of the young people are aware of security. So they'll say, okay, give me good security, give me high volume, high velocity, something like that. And then obviously, lastly is have low transaction fee so that I can pass on that to my customers also. Then we'll also have, Mr. Big Corp or government agency who will say, hey, I'm the big guy, work with me, but, I want to integrate into my systems. I want APIs for that. I want bulk payments. I want bulk transactions. I want low or flat fee, and then obviously I want to have, payouts to my other vendors or other partners. And then I should be able to do business to business or government to business kind of scenarios, not just B2C, but others also. So if you really look at it, these are the four different types. That means Mr. M, the bank, M Brothers, who are the new guys, and then you have the, the big corporates. But at the end of the day, what they are trying to do is they are trying to work for the customer. So Miss U, which is Miss User, is the one who's, too young or, does not qualify for master visa, but has a bank account with Mr. M. And she wants to do digital payments, web, mobile, because that suits her lifestyle. And then obviously we go towards high payment, or I would say high transaction fee. She doesn't want that. And then obviously she wants, to deal with, either government or with, M Brothers for whatever they're doing, because that's what she'll be, interacting with. So if you look at it, these are the four different, audience that one has to entertain when it comes to digital payments. Now going forward, so I've just taken a snapshot of what we showed last time, is that we have obviously the core system, which is Dockerized. So we have I will show you a lot of demos after this, but I just wanted to build the context. So you'll have third parties, you'll have users, customers, merchants coming in, and then you'll have your own operators with different roles. Then you'll have your core banking, you'll have databases, then you'll have the core system, which is what we call it as bridge and manager. And then we have the web interface, and then we have the other components which will come in from XDM Protect and Dictum and the other APIs that are being exposed. So now let's get into Mr. B's need. So now let's look at the demos for what Mr. B would need or require to run the show, and take it ahead. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the other machine because it's on another setup. So over here, what we're going to do is that we're going to look at the XPay manager, which is fundamentally the core of the system where you manage everything from transactions to users to settings to security to merchants, everything. And then we will go into something which we call it as bridge. Now, why we created bridge was that because you will have multiple channels to handle, and you'll have, which will also talk to core banking or security system, like in this case, XDM or others. Let's say if you say third party or anything else, then it's a separate module which gives you power of uploading cards, downloading, reports, all those kind of things. So that gives you a bulk feature kind of thing, which I'll showcase. And then we'll go on to security. Now, obviously, payments have no value if we cannot build non-repudiation or if we cannot build security around them. That means if I have security in place rightly, then my transaction will be protected and I will have very low risk. So we will talk about XDM in a little bit more detail. And then we will go into Dictum Notifier, which is essentially a controlled, budgeted messaging system. So over here, when we are talking outside with SMS gateway, push notification, email, and all that, then you can actually do certain level of screening and control. So we'll showcase that. So let me hop on to the other machine and share the screen and get started. Okay. Okay, so the first one we will start with is XPay Manager. So the one we are showing you is the, sorry, is caps lock on. Okay. Now, prior to this, I just want to highlight that there is a simple Excel, which I want to share with you, that the system comes with roles and also what they can do. So obviously, it is a role matrix where you have the different roles and then what they can actually control. So in terms of merchant group transactions, user upload, file download, and all that stuff. So we have already defined 4 and 5 roles, which can be used as of today to make sure that it works well. So this is a particular example from Asleda. So I'm just kind of mapping that. This is how they are, breaking down the roles and responsibilities and passing it on. So something very similar is see over here. So this whole dashboard, what you see is fine-tuned based on the role that you're going to log in. So obviously, because I have logged in as sysadmin, so everything is yes for me. But if I was, F&B person, then I would have much lesser to see and, so on and so forth for the others. So over here, you can see that you have merchant management. But prior to merchants, I will go into groups. So if you see, what we do is that you can create a group, and in that group, you can associate what type of payment you want to roll out. So let's say, for example, I am rolling out for B2B scenario where I only want to have, like all the 4 options, which is debit card, bank account, internet banking, or mobile banking, which is phone number, internet banking account and all that stuff. So, or otherwise, I can have something like FacePay, which can do the same, or I can have something. So over here, what you do is you actually come in and you create a new, and then over there, you just specify what exactly do you want. So if over here, if I say debit card, I just create a new one. Now, what it essentially does is that it actually allows you to segregate your merchants inside these groups. So like, for example, over here, I can see that this, XPay connector, which is one of the merchants, or Amol, which is another merchant. So just for demo, we are showing it. So you can see that what they are. So let's just look at, like who they are. So let me just go to edit. And now over here, you will see first thing first is that what are the merchant details. So let's say in this example, each merchant has a unique ID, whether they're active, inactive, you can control. Then what are the contact details, what kind of payment they want to enable, purchase or cash in, cash out. I'll talk about this later. Then in cash in, cash out, what kind of commissions do you want? So the payer, which is the end user, Miss You or M Brothers, what kind of commission payment they have to do, either flat or variable. So all that comes over here. And then what kind of currency do you want to apply? So typically it's either going to be US dollar or Khmer. And then if you want to give discount to the merchant, you can also specify over here that for cash in or cash out, what kind of commission or discount you want to give them. And this is for each merchant totally uniquely. So obviously when you go down over here, you can say, okay, what is the transaction limit you want to specify? So if it's a small merchant, you might be, okay, high risk kind of thing. So you might say, okay, I only want to give them, 20. And then I want to only restrict the amount to 50, meaning they can only do $1,000 business in a day, because maximum transactions they can do is 20 and maximum amount each transaction is 50. So in a way, it also mitigates your risk appetite of how much value or how much volume that each merchant can do. So obviously you can manage, for cash in, cash out, and then set afterpay. So what does it mean is that so in a scenario where a merchant is a bit of high risk and you do not want them to offer real-time transaction, meaning that the Miss You pays and then Miss You's money gets deducted from her account, but you want to pay merchant after, let's say, 3 days. So over here you will say 3, meaning that after 3 days is when the system will make the payment after applying whatever was done here to the specific merchant. And then we also have quite an awesome feature, is what we call it as callback. So it's like a webhook. So what webhook does is that whenever any transaction happens or anything happens, like open session, pay, anything which happens in the system, then the merchant, M Brother, can actually specify their URL. So let's say mbrothers.com/alerts tracker. So that's the one they have put in over here. And now every time some action happens in the payment system, XPay, there will be an audit or there will be a callback shot to them so that they can maintain their own audit trail. So for a Mr. M Brothers or for the big corp, this is very powerful, because you can build a lot of scenarios where real-time payments can be done, and then settlements or disputes can be raised by just letting their system know what exactly happened, whether it was success or whether it was failure. So all those kind of things get done very easily. And again, going forward, if you have what type of account you're giving them. So let's say there are a couple of merchants you're just giving them for initial testing so that they can get it right. Then, or they have a live account, meaning live is where the real transactions, real bidding happens. So you can also choose whether it's a private company or a government or an NGO. And then this is where the group comes in, which I showed over here, that which group it belongs to. That means all payment options, all channels can be enabled or not. And then obviously enabling direct payment or not direct payment. So what does direct transfer mean is that over here, so this, when I say enabled, then you see over here it changes. So if you see disabled, obviously, nothing. When I say enabled, it real time will transfer into their account, into the currency, and into the branch code that they have, because each merchant gets recognized by the branch code and the account number. So if I disable it, And then obviously it just mentions that which suspended account it will go to, meaning, so this idea was that obviously these are the live accounts where it will get paid, and these are the suspended accounts which bank has created virtually for each merchant. So it's just a number, but then the money sits in that account. Money does not go to the merchant directly, but sits in this particular account. So we call it suspended account. And if you enable it, then it will go straight away to the merchant's live account with the bank. So I'm just trying to run through a lot of things. And then obviously you might want to put a limitation of like where they are accessing from. So let's say you say, okay, from a specific IP, so it could be, bigcorp system.gov or something like that. And only from their IP, they will be able to access. If you say star.star, meaning anybody can access. And sometimes for merchant payments, you might want to limit the time when they can do it. So let's say if it's a government body and I'm, it's only going to work from morning 8 till evening, 4, then you can actually specify over here that the payment system will only, for this particular merchant only work from, 8 till 4. And then obviously, if you want to have it, for, like from Monday till like Sunday, Monday till Friday, or the whole week, and then how many transactions you want to allow as total for the particular person. So the previous one we saw was more on the amount and the per day limit. This is the total number of transactions which can be done. And then this one is, again, when the completion happens. So let's say, in a payment redirection, when like say we want to redirect it back to their page, to the merchant's page, then this is where you specify, what it would be. So mbrother.whatever.com.this thing / transaction status. So it will take it ahead. So what I have tried to just showcase to you are two very powerful, features. One is grouping of merchants. So you can have private, you can have fintech, you can have, bank, complementary banks, SMEs, government bodies, anything. So you can create as many channels as you want, or groups as you want, and sorry, not channels, groups as you want. And then you can also associate the different types of payments that you have. So if you say that, hey, I just want to have, bank account and internet banking, or debit card and bank account, that is fine. We can only have those two channels available. And then only from those two channels, you can pick what comes over here and all that. So this comes from a setting file of what is allowed and not. Now,
Vikram, sorry. So here, if I understand correctly, this is where we control the payment method acceptance from the merchant, right?
Yes, correct. You're right. So for each merchant, when you go and create a new merchant, so you can control and micro fine tune what you want them to have, because it's not generalized, right? Different merchants will have different business understanding with you, right? In terms of commission, in terms of their accounts, in terms of how you want to actually do business with them. You would obviously have big, big corps. You can also have the M brothers or much smaller nano businesses. So you can fine tune all those things over here, and then also give them what kind of access they want. So you are very right. This is the place where you can control your merchants. You can segregate them as groups, and then take it ahead. Yeah. Then obviously the other part, which is I'll get into the other parts, as I told you that we'll have the bridge, and we'll have other things also coming in. But over here, the other most critical part is what we call it as global setting, and then transaction and settlement, because this is a global setting will influence what happens globally. So as a bank, you say that, hey, from this digital system like XPay, I only want to do let's say 500,000 worth of transactions in a day, right? Because of the risk and because of many other things. So you say, okay, or I can have 100,000 or I can have 1 million, doesn't matter, but you specify the limit and the number of transactions that you want to done as a whole. So collectively, let's say you have 50 merchants, and those 50 merchants are doing on average, let's say 1,000 or 5,000 transactions. So this gives you a global control of how much you want to have or where you say, okay, this is my higher limit. I don't want to go beyond this. So this kind of gives you a control over your, your daily kind of risk appetite to take it ahead. So you might say that, in my system, no transaction should go above $1,000 because I don't want to do that, right? Or you might say that, hey, my companies will do it, so I can allow, $10,000. And then obviously, this is the card length. So you might say that, it depends on, what kind of card we have. Sometimes we have 16, 17, or we have 16, because you might have two types of cards, or you might have 20. So you can specify over here. And then we also come out with a very simple feature, but very powerful. The system does not store the card number. It actually masks it wherever it's logging or wherever it's showing in the system. And then obviously it does, what's supposed to do. And then, so we have written a connector because we have to integrate it with the core banking. So over here, what we do is that we have a scheduler which runs and gets the exchange rate from Khmer to USD to other things. It actually gets pulled from here. So you actually specify that, okay, when you should talk to the core system. So in this case, it's T24 to pull the report in terms of exchange rate and also the number of transactions that have happened. Going back to the other one, which was over here, like whether it's real-time settled or not settled. So things like that, happen in the global setting. And the other important part, sorry, which I kind of forgot to mention to you, was that in any merchant, you would possibly have teams. So obviously there will not be one person from a ministry of, let's say, health who's talking to you. So you possibly have, different team members who are going to be over here. So in this case, it's more, I think in this case also, it's a different email ID if you see over here. So you can actually create merchants and their teams also. And then if in case you have other, administrative stuff like, send the secret, the whole idea, I should have not done it. Oh my God.
What happened?
Oh no, that's the secret which is used for.
This is a live.
No, not the live. It's on my this thing, but for the demo purpose, all the other demos which I have made, the secret would have changed. Shubham. Shit. Okay. Anyway, let's continue. Let me sort that out later. Okay. So in terms of transactions, you might say that what type of transaction you want. Okay. So let's say in this case, I just pick up all, and then you can segregate your report based on how you want it, whether it was success, failure, and all that. So what I'm again trying to highlight to you is that you can have a very generic report being pulled out of transactions, or you could have a very specific in case a help desk person is saying, oh, the customer's asking for a asking or disputing a particular transaction, so they can fulfill these details and then pick it up and then go ahead and generate the specific report that you want. So I think in this case, okay, let's just look at success. Okay, I think I should have not pressed that button. Okay, sorry, I think there's no report for that one. Anyway, we'll come back to that when we do the demo. Now what I'll do is that this is something which happens in the backend. So there are other features also which are there, in terms of threshold fees and all that stuff. But that we can, share with you more a little bit later in terms of, payment gateway fee and all, auction and all that. I won't go into details right now, but I'll switch to another system, which is what we call it as a bridge. And now what does bridge do is that bridge is the one that essentially, so let's say over time, every week or 2 weeks, you have new users coming in and you want to onboard them into the payment platform. So over there, we have a feature where you can talk to a FTP site. So let's say you have a FTP system where every week there is a particular file which gets generated, which has, the like the account user ID, the card number and things like that, which gets pulled from there. So over here you can come over here and you can say, okay, pull new users, and then what it will do is that it will automatically connect to that SFTP server which is internal to you, and then it will pull that file and then automatically bulk or batch import it into the XPay system. So let's say every week or 2 weeks you have 3 or 5,000 users coming in, then you don't need to manually come over here. You can automate this particular script and then execute this scheduler. So what it does is that in case if there is a failure because the connection was not made or anything like that, then it will actually send it out to the email IDs which you specify over here, that the system failed for some reason, and then you can actually act upon it. This is one way. The other way is where you actually import
post that we need to upload that customer into here.
Yeah, so there are two ways, because what happens is that the way we have defined the system is that you possibly already have so there are two ways. One is that you can do it in an automated way using web services, and the other way is that where operator, as you as an operator, you can come in and you can upload the users into the system. So what I'm showing you right now is the approach where operator can come in and upload a specific file over here, and then after upload you can import the users into the system. The second option over here is where you have the scheduler, which can pull the things from FTP. Then there is a third option, which is whenever core banking creates a new user, they can actually make a web service call to XPay and real time say that, hey, this is a new user which is being created. You can also create it into XPay. Does that answer your question, Mr. Rao?
I'm quite confused. What is the bridge features that will work?
Okay. What happens is that when you look at XPay internal dashboard, that essentially handles merchants transactions, right? Now, what does Bridge do is that it essentially does a couple of things. First is it manages users. So users can come from different sources. So you might have coming from core banking, you might have coming from your credit card system, you might have coming from your let's say prepaid or loan account and things like that. So because it can come from different places, we have Bridge, which will do essentially two things. It will firstly import the users, and secondly it will it will manage the security part. So let me just show you. Sorry, not this one.
The user you mentioned here is our new customer.
Miss user, the end customer, not the operator.
So without upload the new customer into the Bridge here, what happened? Customer cannot do the payment.
Customer. I'll tell you why, because when you see it, it will become apparent to you. Now, when you look at this particular dashboard, you see that, okay, obviously there are, this particular same user has account number, then it has got an internet banking ID because it's linked with that. And then it has got a card number. So let's say if you're giving a debit card, and then more importantly, I will show you over here. You are able to manage each user, okay, if you want. So obviously there is the global way of doing it, allow them all, they can do everything. Or you can actually specify what is the individual limit of that miss-you customer or end user. So if you see over here, you are able to manage the user, which can come from any source, let it be card, let it be internet banking, let it be core banking, whatever. and then manage it over here in terms of transaction value, right? Or you can have the security also being configured over here. So in this case, the user I am looking at right now, he has out of band token, which is SMS token. So you can see over here, and the type is email. Email, not SMS, but you can change to anything else. And if the same user had been given a software token, which is on your mobile or possibly over web or PC, something like that, then it will be showing over here. Or if you decide to give your customers hardware token, like a Vasco or a Entrust, so we also support that. So you can actually see it over here also. So what I'm trying to share, Mr. Daud, is that what we realized was that bridge is the one which talks to core banking, which talks to other systems, internet, mobile, whatever you want, or if there are other systems like prepaid card, loan, or whatever you have. So this becomes a separate unit, and then also manages the security. Yeah.
So is the bridge that you mentioned, if the Satapana, they have the middleware, can we use the middleware without use your bridge or what?
Okay, see, what you can do is that okay, you can use it, but then the security features and all that will go away, because over here, see, look at it like this, Mr. Daud, is that you have merchants, you have users. Now in users, you might want to look at certain things, right, which your core banking can handle. I'm not saying no, they can't handle, but core or OS, ESB, let's say if you're using any ESB or middleware, it might not handle the security part, like what token is assigned or not assigned, all those kind of things. So the idea was that for users' point of view, we have the module that can handle users from any channel and also handle their security.
So it means that if for this scenario is mean that is the bridge will talk to middleware, and then middleware will talk to the end user. Yeah,
you're right. So in wherever even in the case of the two local deployments, which is Canada and Asleda, bridge does not talk to core banking directly. Bridge actually talks to the middleware, which is I think one of them is using Oracle Service Bus, Canada one. Okay, I don't remember which one. So they have a separate one. So bridge actually talks to that system, their web services, and then that system talks to core banking. So you're right. You can have bridge talk to the middleware, and then middleware can talk to the core banking or any other system. Our idea or our intention over here is that we want to give the flexibility where your operators can come in and they can manage the users and their end customers, meaning the Miss You, and manage their security or manage their account from here in terms of transactions, in terms of audit trail. So you can also consider bridge to be a help desk for the users, because that gives you flexibility of looking at what the user is, and what they're doing. So if I just come over here.
Vikram, my understanding that when the customer go to transact the payment, and then system actually verify in the bridge, and then will system verify in the core banking as well or not, or they will
No, you're right. So when it comes to bridge, bridge will actually talk to core banking, and then core banking is the one that will say, yes, I allow it or I deny it because not enough funds or enough funds or whatever, and then it will come back. So you're right. You are right that the transaction. So what I'm showing you on the screen is, if you look at it, it's actually, I have just done a quick audit trail search. So it's actually showing transaction, validate transaction, successful. You see over here. So this is what is being done over here. And then obviously you have other user, transactions and all that coming in. So that is for audit trail. And then obviously you can look at user inventory. So let's say if
So I think
please consider.
it actually helps us to manage on the user level, like we can set the limit of the customer, we can set whatsoever.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea. So like, who is the user? What is the security? What transaction they have done? You want to make some changes, into their profile or assign them different token. All those kind of things, gets done at Bridge. And please think like this, that going forward, you might say that, okay, right now I have one mega system, which is, your core banking. But then there could be another system that can also leverage upon Bridge and say that, okay, I want to bring these new type of users over here and offer them that kind of, service. So Bridge, as the name says, Bridge gives you the ability to or I would say consolidate multiple channels, enforce security, and also do the fundamental help desk operations for the users. Yeah. So that's the whole idea behind Bridge, and it is kept separate because the master, the backend system, which is to do with merchants and all that, that is sitting inside. So which is handling the groups and the merchants and the transactions and the settlement and all that kind of stuff. So we did not want to mix, Bridge, which is users and their management and all that, inside the master, because then it will become too bulky and then too many roles and too many this thing. So you could have so if you really look at my sheet, so the Bridge actually has different roles, whereas XPay Manager, which is the core, has different roles. So this was very, very strategically created separately. So this also gives you, security in defense or layers, right? So it's a multi-layered system where the users who are actually doing this cannot operate over here because you don't have that role. So the idea was that very critical system, which is, merchants and management and all that stuff, gets managed by a manager, which is the core, higher role, stronger role. And then you have a softer role or a weaker role, which is, managing the users and managing their security. So that's the intention, Mr. Daud. Am I able to? I know it's a bit too much.
Just going back to the Bridge, just if I understand correctly, it works just like an Active Directory where you store all the authentication profile, which can be used or consumed by various systems. So this will validate and authorize certain access authorization.
You are, Mr. Daud, you are 80% right. Okay. The rest 20 is Bridge actually talks with core banking. It talks with Axiom. The diagram which I showed earlier. So it talks to Dictum. So Bridge actually talks to few parties to get the job done. Bridge, one of the sources for Bridge can be an Active Directory also.
Okay.
So you think of it, because what was happening was that when we architected this product, we realized that, hey, I have security happening in Axiom or any other system based on your choice. I have messaging happening separately. I have transactions happening in core banking or, like a bigger system like that. I don't want to mess up with the master, manager, because it has merchants, it has the critical part, right? So users can come from different places. Security can happen from different places. So how do I do that? And that is where we created Bridge, because this was this component bridges or brings them all together. So it's like a friend to all the systems. So that's why it is quite an integral part of how XPay works, because this is the one which handles users, transaction limits, security and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I know the demo gets too complicated. I'm trying to keep it simple. Okay. So now what will happen is that when you go forward, you would say that, hey, Vikram, you know what? I want security, obviously, which is a very valid question, because we ourselves don't want to give a solution that has, weak securities. When I say weak, meaning, a simple password. So by default, what we have done is that we have Axiom. Oops, what did I do wrong? Avinash, can you check? What did I do? Did I enter the wrong password? Yeah, okay. Sorry, my bad. I entered the wrong
Yes.
password.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so sorry. Okay. Now, Mr. When we look at security, so obviously the most fundamental part, which is that what kind of security I want to give the user. So this is where XCM comes in. So it's kind of pre-shipped, bundled with XPay. So you can have merchant security using certificates. So you can issue them certificates. You can have password policy. So if you have AD, works very well. What we do is that we also extend to AD. But if, let's say, in certain cases, customer says, hey, I don't want to use Active Directory, or I don't have because it's a custom application, it has its own database and all that, or why don't you offer the password part, managing part. And then you have the the important part, which is OTP, now one-time password tokens. So our system comes with essentially software, out of band, which is email, SMS, voice, and then hardware. So you can actually manage what type of security do you want for each type of token over here. And then obviously what type of validation do you want? So you want like 2 minute, 3 minute, that kind of validation, and then do that. So I will not get into details, but what I'm sharing with you is that in XCM you can have so this I think links to dictum, but I will show you that we manage users. So users only from security point of view, not from transactional point of view. So in this case, it can talk to Oracle database or LDAP. LDAP meaning Active Directory or anything which follows LDAP v3. And then from there, we can pull the users into the system. Now, after that, what happens is something beautiful. So let's say the same user that I've been toying with, I want to look at that user. So that's the guy. Obviously, I have made it to my email ID for this demo. So this is the one which is there. And then over here, you can look at different type of security. So for this user, we had used email. And now, one thing is, if you do not use Bridge, you actually have to come over here and manage the user security. If Bridge does not exist, then for each user, you have to come and manage the security. So that is why Bridge kind of consolidates it. So what I'm trying to share with you is that XCM, which is a multi-factor platform, can give you the same features, but Bridge, kind of brings it together, holds it together, glues it together. And otherwise, you can come over here and do whatever you do. So obviously, you can have software, hardware, any kind of token being assigned over here. And then you can also have, other things like, location specific, or device specific. So we have also come out with eKYC, and that I think that's something which we call it as validate. So I can share with you a little bit, not in this context. So if you're onboarding your customers digitally, let's say new customers digitally through agent or directly, users doing it, then we do a fantastic job in that. Then obviously talking about users.
Vikram.
So you can, yeah.
Your eKYC, let's say if the customer or the user held the national ID card with the computer writing, your KYC can be, your OCR can read it?
Answer is it's if it's handwritten, the accuracy is not right because it's handwritten.
Computer writing, not hand.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we have so there is a separate OCR module. So especially with Asleda, what we have done is we have done it for. Okay, can I show you one slide a little bit unofficially? And you cannot say I showed it. I'll put a disclaimer.
Because
okay. Now I just want to show you what we are doing, because I haven't taken permission, from the client. So which I should and I will. Okay, sorry.
Just to make sure your system it can be read and then full populate. It means auto populate to the form.
Yes. So yeah, that's what I wanna show you. So we have done it for I think Khmer ID. Shubham D, do you have a list? Or Shubham K, can you just add in what all we have supported? In the meanwhile, I'm showing this.
For Khmer ID, then for Indian national IDs like Aadhaar, then passport, PAN card.
Yeah, I think bank cards. Then I think few of them. We'll give you the list later. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly share something which we are doing right now. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. That's the new Tunchak. Sorry?
Yes, I can see.
Okay. So that's the new Tunchak app which is going out, and in that is the inbuilt AKYC feature. So where the user is coming in and then actually capturing their face. So that's where the liveliness detection, face matching with your ID. And you see over here is where user gets to, sorry, I think I'll try to make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, so if you see over here, you can actually pick up national ID, family book, passport, so a couple of, like driving license and all that. And then you take like a picture, click a picture of that. And then after that, you are basically, it does the OCR. And then after OCR, you get to see the populated, section over here. So like the name, email address, number, whatever it is. So it pulls out from the document that you have. And also more importantly, it matches your face. So the face which was shown over here actually gets matched over here or with the document, and then in that final report which the operator sees, can see whether it matched 80% or 90% and all that. So that's something which is which we have, and obviously this Asleda is rolling it out. So once you have done it, that means you create your account, and then after you create your account that's where you go inside. So just to kind of sum it up, what you're saying is right, that we have the eKYC module. Obviously, I haven't prepared for it, but if you want, we can share with you in more detail of how our eKYC, or what we call it as Validate, works. We have already done it for a few other clients, so this one is what I'm showing you was for Asleda. Okay, now going back. So does that answer your question, Mr. Dow?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So over here, so again, if you say that you need the special module for onboarding your customers, which can straight away talk to the bridge and create a user or make a web service call to the core banking or any other system that we can do, because all these products which I'm showing you are our products. So we can make those changes and bring those kind of workflows that works for you. So now I'm going towards so okay, just to sum it up, what happens in XDM is that we call the concept as continuous security, and in that continuous security, you are not just looking at so there's a new module which we are bringing it out, which will essentially give you passive authentication using all these where you're coming from, what device you're using, how do you type, and things like that. And then that will also come in and sit in. So there's an upgrade for this also that's going to happen. And then you obviously have like if you talk about role matrix, different operators, you can manage the role from here. And then you have a lot of settings over here which you can use. If you're looking at VPN, you can use VPN also as one of the ways. So if you have VPN requirement which uses radius or Wi-Fi, then it can use the same system. So XDM can add a lot of value, not just in XPay but in others. But let me go back, or let me go to the fourth system, which is what we call it as dictum. Now, in one line, dictum is sorry, I'm just too many passwords. We have a SSO module also, but I think Shubham and Avinash, we should do that. Make the whole
Yes,
thing
sir.
SSO.
Yes, we are doing
Our own
it.
photos,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
It's a
Okay.
enhanced security. Too many passwords.
Yeah.
Be in one system except for the one that accessed by merchant in different platform for them.
Yeah, you're right. I think I think you're right. I think that could be the plan. So now why I'm showing you Dictum is for two reasons. Because in the next version of XP, what we're going to do is that we're going to bring the merchants to have the ability to send messages out to your customers. So let's say, for example, there's a coffee shop which is running a campaign, and in that campaign they're saying, okay, we are offering 20% discount if you come and on this Sunday, right? Now obviously they will say that, hey, we want to send it to X number of users who are aged from 20 to 25 who drink coffee. So you will have the data because obviously XPay is capturing everything for you. So that whole intelligence part is what we are building right now. But then what will happen is that the merchant will make a API call and say, send it out to the user. Now, you don't know what they are typing. You don't know what they are putting inside, right, in those messages. So over here, so it could be for push, it could be for SMS, it could be for email, whichever way. Now, over here, you actually have templates. So these templates, ones which will tell you that whether what they are allowed to send or not allowed to send. So in a way you control, so in this case I've just taken an example of LJOKA. So over here in this case, let's say I'm sending an invitation, I control the contents, and I also want to think, this one. So whatever contents you want to allow, so you actually can say that, okay, I don't want to allow, some bad words, something like that. You can actually block those words, and then you can also alert the administrator, or you can filter, on a few other things. And then also you can limit the amount of messages they can send out, either as SMS or email or voice. So why I'm sharing this with you is that in the new version, Dictum is becoming extremely important, because you will be allowing your merchants to engage with your customers on a very personal front, where they will be messaging or they will be running their promotions through you. Now, obviously, because you are responsible for that, so what it means is that you need to have your control in place of how many messages can be sent out, how many, what kind of contents they are sending out. All those things can be done. And plus, I want to share with you one more thing is, if you yourself want to do certain marketing, so let's say you say, hey, okay, this example, I have users who are Twitter, or let's say, I can have, brackets being created and more things can happen. Then what it can do is that you yourself can use this platform to send promotions, to send alerts, to send security alerts, let's say, or downtime, uptime, all those kind of things you can do it from here. So Bridge actually is used by quite a number of customers. Few to mention are, Kampu Loan Park, HKL, Public Bank, Laos, and Malaysia. So they are using it essentially for controlling their messaging and templatizing what kind of messages go out. And then there is obviously, you can do it for, push, fax, email, SMS, mostly email and SMS and fax is what is getting, push is also getting used. And then there is this another module where in your core banking, where you say that you want to send alerts. So again, I mentioned to you that these are the ones. So over here, if you look at it, you can do this. Wait, sorry, I think there should be listeners. So from core banking, if you want to send a message out as an ISO, and then from ISO you want to send it out as a specific SMS or a mobile message, then you can actually do that. So you can come over here and you can specify over here. So, and that's the particular handler that we have written for them. Now, obviously you'll say that, Vikram, hey, I'm talking about payments, right? Why are you showing me all this? I'm showing you all this for a very simple reason, is that when we talk about XPay, payment part is one of the core functionality which which we are doing, right? But there is this whole different world of consolidation, which is in terms of security, which is in terms of messaging, using it for other applications or these applications, bridge, which talks to multiple systems, all that kind of comes together. So now what I'll do is I will kind of go back and I'll show you actually the experience now. So we have done the Mr. M Mr. Bank as the main entity. Now the next thing which we'll be going through is correct. So what we have done is we have looked at the core management, we have looked at the bridge, then we have looked at Axiom, and we have looked at Dictum. So these together are super powerful because they practically cover merchants, groups, transaction fees, limits, security, audit trail, messaging, anything that you can name off. So this fundamentally gives you that foundation that you can roll on. Now, obviously, we need to focus on the so-called happy misuser, and then go through our experience. So what I'll be showing you next is a mock experience of how misuser will buy furniture. Okay, so that's the first example. And then another very simple example is that there is a wallet company, or you have a wallet system separately, and then you want to do a very simple, cash in, cash out kind of thing, like put money into the wallet and take money out of the wallet, right? So that's two things that I'll show you very quickly. And then after that, I think I'll straight away go into the merchant part, where we will look at few other things like how do I do third-party payments as a big corporate. So if an invoice gets through to me and I have to pay my 2 sub-merchants, then how do I do that? So that will be third demo. And then obviously we'll talk about another application, which is through the mobile. So you would say that, hey, Vikram, because everybody is going towards mobile payments, so how do I handle that? So I will actually show you an experience of the SDK of how it works and gets the job done. And then we will go into 2 videos, which is for point of sale video, which I think is quite valuable. And then the next one would be we are coming out with the chatbot also, so that also I'll try to run. So I will try to cover a couple of real-time videos now and show you the whole system in totality for it to work. Okay. I just hope. Okay, sorry, I need to come back. Okay, so this is the, sorry, I think, okay. So what we have done is that we have just created a very simple demo, which kind of showcases the power of, how XPay will work in action. So this is Miss Yu. So she essentially wants to, buy something, online. So let's say she likes this, orange chair, is beautiful. So she wants to buy that. And now obviously M Brother is the company offering that. So M Brother is like, awesome with furniture, and, she's, excited to buy this. So it's basically cost $300. Now I come over here, and as you could see, it was very quickly, the action started happening. So I'm just showing you what we have done. And then I'm picking up the specific user. So over here, as you saw, in like there were 2 channels. There were the group where we had created. Where we had created. This particular channel for the merchant M Brothers will use account and ATM card or debit card. Now I come over here, I enter my account number because that's what I have chosen. As soon as I do that, it will validate, through bridge and everything that, okay, is this actually an active card? It's working fine. And as you could see that it was quickly populated with the user details, which I showed you earlier in bridge and all that. And then I say proceed with pay. Now over here, the user can have, whatever security token they want. So I think it's linked to my email ID. So I'll just pop it out. Okay. So from my experience point of view, it's very much what any system will do. But what's happening in the background is you'll appreciate it, because once I show you this thing, the backend, and then I say okay, verify, and then it was as simple as that. The payment was done, and now I am back home. Now let me go back and possibly show you that first thing first. What I'll show you is that for this user, there should have been a verification request, because XEM should have said that, okay, yeah, this is the one. So let's look at the audit trail. It can be 2 days only. Okay. So if you see over here, see, OTP was sent and OTP was verified. So it was almost done in less than 20 seconds or something, 20 or 30 seconds. So that means that XEM did its job of validating. Now I will go to the merchant and show you that. I just hope I did not reset the password of this fellow.
You should use the built-in password manager of the Chrome.
Yes, yeah, you're right. I'm just doing the demo part, so these are not my passwords, but my passwords are in the password manager. Okay. So if you see, what has happened was that I am the M brother, so I have logged in. So this is my dashboard, which I wanted to show you. So this is whatever bank has forced on me as a business, as a merchant, is all showing up over here. And as you can see, I can't edit them. I can only view them. So there's no way I can, edit them. And then obviously I go ahead and I have my accounts and all that. Now the transaction part is what is. So over here, I'll just pick up, from here all. Yeah, okay. I think it was bank account. So this is what I'll have it as a merchant. So for a merchant, I will look at the transaction ID, which I have pushed, and then the core transaction ID, which is coming from the core banking. And this is the transaction ID which the merchant had set when they sent it. So in this case, they didn't specify the invoice because we have kept it as optional. In this case, it is there. And then what actually was used, how much was the amount, and then also, looking at all these different types of things like, what kind of currency it was, how much commission or fees was charged, and everything. So you as a merchant get.
On the merchant, sorry, Vikram. On the merchant, you said that there is a suspend account processing in the system. So is there any accounting entry at your system? Then only you will export and dump into the core, or it works online?
Yeah, you're right. So what happens over there is that we don't straight away, because it sits. Okay, so the is, again, Asleda and Canada, where they're using it, is that we push the transaction to them into the suspended account. So the one which I showed over here. So the merchant does not get the money directly. The merchant only gets the money after a few days when. So over here. So if you see over here, so the XPay calls the core and says that put the money in this suspended account. And after 2 or 3 days, when the counter hits that, okay, pay it off, then the money moves from this account into the merchant's account. So that gives you the control in case there's a dispute, right? Or there is a, like a merchant is saying, okay, I will deliver flowers or I'll deliver a cake, but then the cake never comes to Miss You. And then the Miss You says, hey, I never got it, so I need my money back. So in that scenario, merchant obviously is not paid. It sits in the virtual account, and then you can refund it back. So you can do it from your core banking also, or you can also come over here and look at the settlement report and then handle it. So I'm not saying that XPay replaces core banking. Core banking obviously does much more. Settlement won't work because this is real time. But what I'm trying to share with you is that there are enough reports over here that can help you pinpoint what exactly has happened or in the system, so that you can revise. Oh, sorry, I think, what am I doing wrong? Is Amol around? Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Dawood, I've been talking for 45 minutes, so just getting a bit tired now.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. But your answer is that we have enough reports or ability where the money does not go to the merchant directly. It sits in a suspended account, and after a few days, it will go into the merchant account. So that days can be 3 days, or it could be 2 weeks or 30 days. So that you can configure, you can control, like what merchant, what kind of settlement you want to have with them. So that is there. And obviously, I know that something similar can be, or something more can be done. Also, we can work towards it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, practically for the same experience. So obviously, what happens is that you have the user paying the money, commission and fees being calculated, money going into the suspended account, or it going into the I would say into the merchant's real account after X number of days. Now, this is again a very simple demo where we are let's say adding money. So let's just say, okay, I'm adding $15. Something very similar happens. What you're seeing is a very simple experience that we have made, and there are a lot of APIs and SDK which I'll show you, and they also get used in terms of integration. So what you see over here is just a mock screen that we have made to showcase the the front end, but the APIs can be used in a much different way. So after this, I'll be showing you this, which is the payment SDK and also the code. So you get a bit of glimpse of how it's done and all that. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So again, same thing happens over here, and I will not go into the transaction details because I have to enter OTP and all that. But what I'll do is, okay, sorry, I should have canceled it. Okay.
Make sure this
now,
does not to Akleda real server, yeah, not a call.
No, local. So we have just made it as proxy. So it's actually running as Dockers over here on this machine. So there's nothing, no real time. Only thing is we have taken permission of theirs to show it to other banks. And that's one good gesture. They have allowed us to do it. So now, merchant, let's say again, it was hard to show that a company which is raising an invoice, and then when it gets paid.
Just one thing. So here, what is this merchant website it's using? The shopping cart.
This one.
Yes. This is the merchant website, right?
No. Okay, so you can. Okay, the payment integration essentially happens through JavaScript or iOS, Android kind of and then obviously you call RESTful APIs. So it can be added into anything. So we have I think if you want to use Shopify.
Yeah, just wondering here. This is the merchant website. So maybe they are using their shopping cart system, that right?
Correct. So
how do they register and plug it into your payment gateway? How easy is that to a merchant which is non-tech savvy person?
Okay. Avinash and Shubham, do we have that script for the server side, or it's with Amol? It's with Amol, right?
Yes, sir. It's with Amol.
Okay,
right,
I wish Amol was there. Okay, Mr. Dawood, what we'll do is that after this, we will share with you the little bit of documentation of how easy the integration is. It is very straightforward. So Asleda, there are a couple of companies who are using Joomla or who are using Shopify and all that. So all those they are able to add the custom HTML script to do the addition. It typically any dev does it in less than 3 or 4 hours. So it's not very hard. It is just adding HTML script like JavaScript and some HTML piece of code. That's it, and then rest everything happens over here. So, okay, I'll just show you what a mobile person has to do, or a mobile dev has to do. So essentially, they will essentially add our SDK, which is a lib file. They will import it, and they will basically be calling these. So whatever they are doing in terms of purchase, that is their part. Like, okay, how much is the amount and all that. That is in their application. And the way they use our system is as simple as this. They will say, this is the URL. This is my merchant ID, and now start it. So this is the place where we say load, and once you say load and show, automatically payment happens. So it's not even 50 lines of code that they have to add it in over here. So whatever I've written over here is the starting point, and as soon as the show happens, then this happens, meaning this is just a UI. I will show you when the show button happens. So I will say, okay, I see something is happening. That's fine. We don't need to worry about it. Okay. Oops. Okay, Shubham, why did it crash? Not much of a demo. Yeah, first thing. Is it running? No, it's not running. Sorry. Okay, to answer to you, you have APIs, you have SDK, and you have a widget. Those three can be added in, and the integration happens. So it's just any dev would say, okay, I need to specify my credentials, and I just need to call my API, which is load. And after you do load, you are able to take it ahead. So it's quite straightforward. What's happening here? Okay, 0 errors. Yeah, okay, fine. Sorry. So what we are showing you is a very, very elementary demo, just to show. But all this is in the background. They call the APIs. So these are APIs. Same APIs were called over here. When we do this. So I think, okay, let's say when we do checkout, you can see that it redirects to the payment page. In the same way you will see it over here. So let me just do that. Okay. It's very easy. So I think on average, half a day or a day is what you need. And then you say pay. Now, when I say pay is when the redirection happens. So you'll see the same page happening over here. Yeah, see? Same thing. So same thing happens over here where I can specify what we have. There is what we call it as a UI-less SDK also, which doesn't even show UI. It's every through the through APIs. But this one is where the control is coming to you, and then obviously the transaction happens. So I'll just quickly do it from the phone. So typically, as of today, from the foundation point of view, you will have any web payment, mobile payment, or any API payment, because a lot of times you want to call APIs to pay in bulk. So all that happens very, very seamlessly or in an easy way, because all is there. Now the next layer is where we are building what we call it as the face pay and all those kind of things. So now you see over here in my screen. Now over here you can see success. That means it's done. Again, it's not a great UI, but at least it shows you that whatever is happening on the web also happens on the mobile, and the line of code is very short and limited. You just initiate and you say show, and once you say show, then all this payment starts happening, and then the payment takes over, and then you can see the whole thing getting done. So there is obviously more we can talk about. So one of the things which I wanted to show you was that auction, because auction is very hard to display and show and make it. But over there, if you really look at it, we have the obviously MPWT, and then obviously XPay, and then the core banking, and then you have the subscriber who's initiating a transaction, and then you have the auction in a way where companies can lock the money. So that's where the freeze and unfreeze comes in. And then after that, after some time, once you have won the auction, so meaning that a person was buying, let's say, $1,000, whatever motorcycle, and once he has won it, then the settle auction happens. That means, yeah, okay, he has won it. So there is a very good integration that we have already done, it's part and parcel of XPay.
For this action, what does the other bank is using for? Is it for the plate number or something, or what?
Yeah, you're right, for the plate number, correct. So they are using it for others also because they see the value in this. But the where it started was the plate number buying was one of the big things, and I think it's quite a premium. So auction of plate numbers is what is there,
So in MPWT, are they using Accleda or XPay system as their acquiring engine, or they have their own system?
No, this particular component which I'm showing you is this is the one we have done. So MPWT has their own system because they are using, I think the front end is built by another company, but the APIs they are calling are standardized. So they actually publish a standard that, okay, this is how it should be done and all that stuff. So we actually complied with all that, and then we made the APIs as per what they want. And there is obviously a callback which happens internally, but then internally, XPay talks with the core banking of Asleda to do the job of actually freezing money, paying the payments, and all that kind of stuff. So again, MPWT is a merchant. So now going back, I think what you asked was quite relevant. So over here, if you see, this is the MPWT, screen where you see, okay, what kind of fee range they have in terms of this thing, and then they also have the threshold, like what is allowed. So that's something which is very specific for MPWT, and then you have different types of commission pricing that's already there, to take it ahead, like auction settlement fee, maximum offer. And then obviously payment gateway per auction, like they are charging per per transaction also. So this particular obviously tab is very specific for MPWT auction part, and then rest other things are for every other merchant that comes in over here. So again, obviously there are other reports, cash in, cash out, payout, other kind of reports which are there. I'm not going to get into details, but all is available in the system, so you can get all this once you have the system. So there's a lot of reporting, but Mr. Rao, what is happening is that the next version we are going to have a lot of new things, as I told you last time, which is from, I think, let me switch to this one. But any other questions in terms of?
I think so far okay.
Okay, great. So again, you are right that there is an evolution of software and evolution of processes and systems. So I think once we start working together, then we can look at what are the specific workflows you want to handle. So picking up from you that there are certain things which we have to do in terms of like bringing the loyalty program, and then bringing in the micro payments and Facebook Live and all that. So those things we are building right now. And as I told you last time also, that we are due for a release over here, beta release. So these are the things which we will bring in terms of user behavior, risk-based authentication, customer segmentation, messaging, marketing and all that, that will come in. And then I have, okay, sorry, this or not.
Vikram, one more thing, yes. One more quick questions on the merchant side. So just coming back on the merchant, how to make the merchant convenience in selling their e-commerce product. Let's say, so you have a lot of products there, but you have some featured product that you want to offer, and somehow, because now live feeding is very popular. So what they do is whether they can generate a deep link to that particular product, a QR automatically generated with the pricings and stuff, and into a link. So when they do the video live feeding, they will just put that link there. If anyone clicks on it, they will redirect and the customer make a pay directly without choosing or without having to touch any other button. So it will be a complete transaction straight away. So
Mr. Daud, you are very right. That's why we were, hoping that we'll get, week or 2 weeks where, we can show you more stuff. But from the Face Pay to QR Pay to Waze to, Pokemon to, Quick Pay, as you said, also the live, live pay, right? Like in case of Facebook Messenger and Facebook Live and all that. So all that is coming in. So what we'll do is that we will possibly have, a couple of videos being, made and shared with you, to showcase how it works. See, if you really look at it, the backbone or the core system is there. It is just that we need to bring more, I would say, convenience. We need to bring more, integration with the merchants. So that's what we are definitely working towards, and we will. What I want to show you is also, 2 things. Sorry, I think I have, because I didn't have much time, so I requested my team, to make a little bit like a video. So this is the first one which I want to show you. So that's something which we are doing. So if you really look at it, this is the XPay, pay through your mailbox. So I am sitting inside Office 365 and I can pay through the same thing. So again, an extension, like rightly you said, like Facebook Live could be one, QR code be another. So what we are doing is that now we are adding a lot of extensions where you look at an invoice over here, and then you can straight away make a payment from your Google Gmail, or you can make a straight away payment from your from your Office 365.
Okay.
Right? So again, you're right, because the idea is to give more, options. Your idea is to give more omni kind of experience to come in. So what I'm showing you right now is, again, select your account, authorize yourself, and make the payment, right? So, and there is one more new feature that we are bringing it out is will be where we will digest the invoices. So when the system gets an invoice in the email, it will automatically pick up and say that, hey, this is a due payment you have, which is $50 or $100 for your electricity or for your anything like that, and then you can straight away pay. So those kind of things are also coming in to bring more value. And then lastly, this is which I want to show you is what we have done for 2 customers, not in Cambodia, where we have a point of sale software. So you can have your branches. So let's say I am a coffee shop, or I am a new fintech, who's doing something innovative. I can have different types of features like daily settlement, sales, inventory, a commission calculation for my employees, all these different kind of things. So if you see over here, I'm just going to quickly roll through it. Again, these are videos because I did not have much time to prepare and all that. But you can do your whole inventory management and everything from here. So this is something which you can give it out to your smaller merchants. They can have their own inventory managed. From here, they can connect to the insights, the new module that we are building, and straight away shoot out promotions. So imagine that from this dashboard, I can have a single button where I say, okay, run my promotion. And I can say, okay, for people who wear specs or people who have bought specs in last, whatever, 1 year or 2 years, send them out, or I'm doing a promotion for coffee, or I'm doing a promotion for sports gear, or I'm doing a promotion for this thing. So the idea is that offer them inventory or POS software. And then from there, you will get more insights. And then insights will help you to make more promotions. And more promotions will generate more e-commerce for you. So you see over here, so we can actually have obviously pay through XPay, and then you enter your card number, same thing, you enter your card, account number, you go to the next one, make the payment. So the customer can, get the OTP, tells the OTP, and gets it done. pure software, no hardware, easy to deploy, high velocity, high volume, cloud-based if you want, or obviously in your premise, and then from there you take it in.
Okay.
So it adds a lot of value to merchants. So we have been adding a lot of value to to merchants because they are the ones who will drive the commerce.
So this XPOS is another extensible modules that giving to the merchant itself.
Yes, correct.
And
correct.
This will actually be integrated with the merchant platform that you have shown us earlier, right?
Yes, correct. So all this will basically come over here. So they obviously that is for you to manage, which is the XPay manager, and then they have this all coming in. So that means all this, meaning how much merchants, inventory, whatever you have done, all that will come in here, and there will be more interesting insights. Like you can actually say, merchants, you allow the merchants to see, market trends, right? You allow merchants to run their campaigns, like you rightly said, like they can generate the QR code, they can generate their live Facebook live links, right? Which they can publish it out all from the same portal that they have.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the innovation we are doing. But I will go back. See, Mr. Daud, what will happen is that we, if you really look at it, we cannot do all of it on day one, right? So we have to look at steps. So and that's where I started my presentation, because we need to start with the foundation. Once we have the foundation in, then we can add a lot of features over here, right?
Yes.
So foundation is where you say, okay, I want to have merchants, I want to have central control, I want to have users, then I want to get into B2B, then I want to get into the intelligence, because on day one we will have no intelligence, right? Because there will be no data, there will be no transactions. But after 6 months, after 1 year, we will have a lot of intelligence and data happening. Actually, this module right now, Asleda is kind of, we have started that project also. So over here for the intellis, where we are giving them a lot of insights of what the trend is, of what the merchants are doing, each merchant, and what each user is doing, or the pockets of user, like how many spend $200 a month, how many spend $1,000 a month, do they spend on weekend, do they spend on weekdays, do they spend in festive time, all those different kind of questions are getting answered over here. And then part of that is also being made available to the merchant, so that they can run their marketing campaigns and all that stuff. So that's the whole idea. But again, we cannot do this as a first step. This is what is needed: a foundation and business. After 6 months, you can say, okay, hey, let's look at more value now, more insights. So a few features like what you're saying over here, QR Pay and all that stuff, we will bring it out in the first version. But the Intelli part, which is the AI-driven intelligence forecasting and all that, that has to happen a little bit later, once we have some data.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I've done quite a bit of talking.
Some water first.
Okay, I'll have some. I know my team has been waiting, so they are saying, okay, are there any questions? Or are we able to answer most of them?
Yeah, I think more or less it is there, covered what we are looking for. So I think just to come back on what we discussed earlier, that so payment space is one thing that we want to move into, and how fast we can actually link up with the e-commerce merchant. Like now, I think for the web e-commerce, I think there's still pretty low involvement from the Cambodia market, but I think on the like logistic part and the food and beverage, food ordering, and also e-government initiative that see the government is trying to transform. So like even for the tax payment into the WT, we see that a lot of other fintech startups are coming up, and So banks are trying to eat up the market share here. So it's only the first mover advantage and how fast or how short we can bring up the integrations and how convenient and flexible in terms of the plugin would be able to integrate them. So this will give the banks advantage on how we want to move on. Yeah. So I think you have the modules there already. So I think next step forward is that we will be working on the more details and let us get some pack numbers to really be able to put it up to the budgeting process within this quarter. So then, as said, that we want to target this by NQ1 next year. If we can do even faster, that will be better. Otherwise, NQ1 would be the deadline for us to get this in place.
Okay, sure. Sounds good. And I think on a product roadmap, as I already shared, there's quite a bit of features that will come out, and what you have highlighted, we have absorbed it quite well. So I think by the time the next year starts, we might have, I won't say might, we will have most of the things that we are talking about done. So I think by the time you'll have it, and then obviously there are a lot of APIs which I have not talked about, of how we do bulk payments, how we do reconciliation, and everything is an API, because when you talk about services, it has to be API focused, API driven. So there are a lot of APIs which I have not talked about because it's mostly on the back end.
Okay, I have one more things on the extensibility of the tool of the system and the ownership of the system, to what extent that our team can do by themselves without having to be dependencies on your team. So, there will be certain custom layer that the team can do, and there will be the core architectures that we need to go back to you. I think it's okay, but to what extent that our team can do?
So see, I think the right word is APIs. So your team. So essentially, what we'll do is that we'll give you a whole training, train the trainer, and along with that, we also give you what we call it as a LMS. So that LMS has all the different things that you can do and don't from the system point of view, from manager, bridge, APIs, and everything. And that's because you might have churn of people. So that LMS actually helps you. So you can actually ask your engineers that, okay, I have badges, for what level of knowledge you have gained. So it's more like a LMS with, reward system inbuilt. So you can actually get your engineers trained over there. And then over time, they can actually build new things based on what they feel like. So let's say on mobile SDK, we have given, but they can make more things on top of that using APIs, or they can do more things on the server side and build their own, tools and systems. You will have access to the database because it's your database, so you can pull a lot of reports from there also.
So your package comes with the LMS, which is like a training.
Training for XPay, yeah, correct. So what we realized was that the one of the terms which most of is very popular in our team is we want to enable and empower. Enable and empower is something which we do internally. And also we help our customers and partners to also be enabled and empowered. So what I mean is that if you know the system well, you will be able to use it much better instead of asking us. So we give that ability back to you, where you run the system, own the system, and have in-depth knowledge about it, so that if there are any changes that needs to be done, you can also do that, based on whatever APIs we have done. So Mr. Daud, I think you know me for some time. One thing I am very transparent about is that whatever is going to make you reach out or help you grow is in turn going to help us also grow. So that is our fundamental, the collaboration part. So we are not just going to be a vendor, but we're going to look at you and listen to you and then see what features we can add in and bring to you, or what all things do you need or are your pain, and what more complex problems we can solve. So that's what we would be, not just a vendor but a partner for you.
Okay.
And obviously eCam is there, so our I would say the local face.
Yeah, and here.
Yeah. Okay. What I can do is anything specific. So there are a couple of videos. I'll record it, like the chatbot, which I couldn't show right now. And then a few other things, like, as you said, that face live pay, and then, a couple of insights once we have, things working, and kind of reports, which I can share with you partly. Those things I'll keep it coming in. And then let us know what additional information you need, and then we can take it from there.
Okay, thank you, Vikram. So I think please share with us the pack, and I think the video is there so that we can digest more. I will be discussing with the team what else do we need actually to align with the business. So we are actually going through the business too as well. And if there is anything else, we will be reaching out to you for more information. Yeah.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much. I just hope that this I think almost 2 hour session was a bit insightful, and we just want to say that we have found amazing success through this for our clients, and I think going forward, when you look at XPay with XGM and then whatever is coming out, there will be tremendous benefit. And I just want to say one thing is that with the security that we have put in place, I didn't talk about tokenization and other things. The security which is backing up XPay, there is zero hack that Ashley and Canada have reported. So that is, and zero is a very strong commitment. I am in cybersecurity. Like that's my core passion, and but that is what results have shown us. That is what reports have shown us. So we feel very proud, stating this. But that is something which we can bring on the table, not just the payment part, but building a infrastructure which you can use it in other places also, in other applications, but giving you the needed security by default, and mitigate your risk to the lowest. And that is something which we have, done. That is something which you are bundling in XPay, so that you can enjoy it. Yeah. So please consider that also, which is a very good strength. And face pay and all these other things will also come in. Risk-based authentication is going to come in, which is a transactional or non-fiction kind of way of doing it. Fraudulent transactions can be caught if there is any anomaly over there. So all those things are coming in next 3 months, which I'll be kind of inbuilt inside the product itself. What you'll get. Yeah.
Okay. So Vikram, next would be we like to get the ballpark from you, and also maybe propose to us in high level first. Like, okay, we have about 95% local transactions, and so introducing this to the merchant and stuff, like we want to launch this by, let's say, if not everything, but partially, which is the most critical one, can be launched within let's say less than 3 months time. So then the rest can come later. So maybe we want to look at that. And what would be the models that would be able to go in first?
Okay, fine, sounds good. I think what we'll do is that I think Ekem and us will work together on something that kind of fits very in the right structure and right framework, and then share the the proposal, and then we can possibly have a call and run through it once together, that how we have broken it down and what's the the different, or I would say the approach which we would suggest or recommend to you, that how we can progressively look at it, not just one big lump sum, but chunks of it. So you don't upfront, but you buy over time and something like that, some kind of structure like that. Yeah.
Correct. We want to move on like that. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. And thank you, Mr. Daud. Really valuable questions. We always are learning, and we always are improving thanks to you and the team. And I think we'll follow up with an email, I think, from our side, and then as you said, that we'll work on the proposal also, and share it with you in the next session. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Vikram. So
okay. Thank you.
Can come back a week's time. Is it okay?
I'm starting now. No, just joking. I'm just going to eat some food. I haven't had breakfast also. But just give us, I think, mid of next week, if that's fine.
Yes, a week's time is okay.
Okay, cool. Mid of next week, we'll definitely, submit a proposal from our side. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you
bye.
so much.
Thank,
Yeah.
thank you
Thanks.
all.
Bye.
Thanks all.
Thank you. Bye.
Have
Thanks
a
a lot.
nice
Yeah.
day.
Bye.
Bye bye.